One of the most important things you can do on your farm if you want to save overall net dollars is prepay. Now there are a couple of different things we're looking at here. One, it's prepaying for tax reasons, and two, it's prepaying to get a better deal on things like herbicide and seed. So we want to talk about both of those things today, as well as discuss the benefits and the risks.
All right, there's two ways to make more money. One is to work harder, the other is to work smarter. This one falls into the work smarter category. When we think about inputs for your farm, you have to buy seed for next year. You have to buy crop protection products if that's how you're managing your farm. You know these things. So if you can time them just a little bit different and save lots of money, it makes so much sense. So when we think about it from that standpoint, yes, getting the discounts and maximizing that on products you know you're going to use for sure is really smart. The big thing though is not to take that risk of losing all your money. That means you have to do business with a supplier that's very reputable and financially secure. Because think about it, if you're prepaying with your seed dealer, you write the seed dealer a check and he says, yep, I'll bring the seed out in the spring. Wow, there's a long time until spring. You want to make sure that that seed dealer is going to be there, because if you had to prepay for that expense and you totally lost it and he ran away with your money, you would be in big trouble. So you don't want to get into that situation. That's the number one thing I would say, is make sure that you're working with a reputable dealer.
The other big risk here is if overall prices change significantly to the bad side. In other words, they go down and you prepaid $100 and you realize, ooh, I could have bought it in the spring for $60. This commonly happens with fertilizer. And I don't care how good your dealer is, and you know, they'll price protect you for the most part on crop protection and on seed. Just make sure you talk to them in advance. But nobody's going to price protect you on fertilizer. So when you're going to go out and buy fertilizer, you want to have a pretty good understanding that, yeah, I'm buying at the low. But unfortunately, we really don't know if it's the low. So what we often encourage you to do is, hey, if you're going to buy your fertilizer, then sell some grain at the same time, because usually grain and fertilizer prices follow. In other words, if you're going to buy fertilizer at the high and then everything drops down, all of a sudden you realize, oh, I bought my inputs at the high and I sold my grain at the low. So if you're going to buy one at the high, sell the other at the high. If you're going to buy one at the low, sell the other at the low, and just try to keep things even that way. That's a way to at least hopefully manage your risk a little bit.
Well, the other risk that I look at is you may change your plans. Maybe you say, you know what, I want to go all corn next year. I'm really excited about that. So I buy all these inputs for corn, and all of a sudden, wow, I can't get in the fields. It's raining and it's raining and it's way past my latest date that crop insurance will cover me, or that I feel I can still get a decent yield in my cornfields. I've got to switch to another crop. Maybe I'm going to switch to soybeans. Will your supplier work with you? If you say, wow, I bought all this product that I can only use on corn, can I really switch and get soybean products or soybean seed in exchange for that and still get that prepaid deal? That's one of those things. We do see a number of suppliers that are willing to do that, but you have to ask those questions on the front side. If you just buy and say, oh, I'm sure he's good for it, I'm sure he'll be good if I need to switch things out, maybe that dealer can't. Maybe he's working with suppliers for him that won't allow him to trade out, and he's not able to do that for you either. So you have to ask those things on the front side for sure.
All right, let's come back to the benefits of this whole prepay thing. And where a lot of this starts for most farmers is they want to save money on taxes, or better put, they want to delay paying money in for taxes. So if you're a non-farmer and you're watching, you say, wow, farmers, they can get out of paying tax. They never get out of paying tax. Nobody gets out of paying tax legally, okay? All you can do is delay that tax bill, and here's how a farmer is allowed to do it. What the farmer can do is be on a cash accounting system, so if he spends money in cash to buy product inputs, things like crop protection, seed, fertilizer, he can lower his tax bill this year. So let's just say, for example, that the farmer was going to make $150,000 this year. His farm operation turned out good this year. He's going to make $150,000. Okay, what he could do is prepay $100,000, and that in effect delays his tax bill. Let's say his overall tax bill's at 30%. So 30% of $100,000 is $30,000. Well, hopefully the farmer can then take that $30,000, instead of paying it to the government this year in tax, he knows he's going to have to pay for it somewhere down the road, but maybe he can take that and do something with it. It's called opportunity cost of money. Usually, like if you put it in the stock market, you get a 10% return over many, many years. That's kind of the long-term average. Hopefully on the farm, you can do even better than that. But let's just say 10% for easy figuring. So you saved $30,000 this year, which means you can turn that into $3,000. So you gain $3,000. Well, literally, if you could put push that tax bill off and every year keep prepaying the same amount every year and delay it for 20 years, you get $3,000 times 20 years. That's $60,000 that the farmer can gain. Now, you say, well, why does the government allow the farmer to delay the tax bill, but me as a regular citizen, I can't do that? Here's why. Because the only way that the farmer can lower his tax bill this year is he has to put money into the economy. And what do they always say about putting money into the economy? It turns 7 times. So instead of that 100,000, all of a sudden it's 700,000 put into the economy. Well, it's really good for a lot of people. So yeah, it delayed the tax bill a little bit, but who cares? Because it turned all that money into something really good for a lot of people.
All right, the other benefit that sometimes gets talked about, but I think is really critical, is just getting exactly what you want. Getting that tight supply product, getting that brand new hybrid or seed variety. The way to do that is spending the money early, putting in your order early. When you think about it, you may say, well, I'm this dealer's best customer, or I'm his favorite customer. That's fine, but if you don't commit until right at planting season, guess what? Any of that short supply stuff, high demand stuff, somebody's already spoken for it.
Well, once again, we think prepaying is a great deal in a lot of cases. Just make sure you're talking to your dealer in advance. If you need to get your money back, you can do it. Ask them about getting interest on your money if you need to get the money back. Make sure you're getting price protection on as many things as possible. So work with your dealer as much on the upfront side. And you've got to really trust that dealer because they've got your cash. You need to get collateral if you're really that worried about it. Maybe even take delivery of the product early or something like that. So try to manage the risk as much as you can. But just understand that prepaying is usually a great deal to get yourself a better deal and to delay your tax bill, which puts more cash into your operation this year.
One thing you may be prepaying for is weed control options for our Weed of the Week. Can you identify this week's weed?